Well, welcome back to Midday. Our first guest joining us is Jasmine Russett. She is an associate with Fulton and Company. Thanks for being here, Jasmine.
Thanks for having me.
We're talking about actually a topic that I think can be a little bit difficult for a lot of people to sit down and have that conversation about, but a really important one, planning for incapacity. What is, first of all, what is incapacity? How would you describe that?
So for a lot of people, at some point in their lifetime, they may experience issues with capacity and requiring some assistance from either their loved ones or close friends. And that can be a variety of things. It can be physical incapacity issues or mental incapacity issues, so mental infirmity, etc. So really, essentially, it's when you're no longer able to make decisions for yourself or manage your own affairs.
Okay, so if you, just when you're thinking about planning for incapacity, what would be some of the things that you should be thinking about, some of the tools maybe that you can use when, you know, looking at that, looking ahead?
Right. Yeah, so first and foremost is the power of attorney, which I believe one of my colleagues at Fulton discussed recently. And so what I wanted to talk about today was the representation agreement.
Okay.
So that is more a medical health care agreement. So that you can put something in place so that you have someone to make decisions for you on your behalf, or to simply assist you when you're still capable of making those decisions for yourself, but you need some help.
Yeah, exactly. So what would you say are the biggest decisions that that person could help you with? Would it just be mostly financial, or what are we talking about?
No, so the representation agreement is strictly for health care, medical care, and personal care. The financial is taken care of with the power of attorney.
With the power of attorney, so that's the difference. Okay,
yes,
now,
that's the main
now
difference.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody can make those decisions on your behalf. What if you don't have somebody to do that for you? What can happen in that sense?
Right, so that's an important part of planning, so that you know what can happen if you haven't prepared accordingly. So what happens in a situation where you don't have a representation agreement, which means that you haven't appointed someone to be your representative to make those decisions for you, you sort of lose that control over who can make those decisions. So in an emergency situation, a healthcare provider has the ability to make decisions for you. And then in routine situations, what happens is the healthcare provider will have to then decide who will be your temporary substitute decision maker, and get their consent to then make decisions on your behalf. So what happens with this temporary substitute decision maker is that it follows a priority. There's a list set out in the statute by law that says these are the people that can make those decisions. So it starts with your spouse, and then your child, and then your parent, and so forth.
Okay.
So
how would you know? I mean, you say planning for incapacity is important, but should everyone just start planning for that, or is it, you know, when should you start planning for that? When is the representation agreement actually used,
really important,
you know, and really important?
I mean, and that's the key part of planning, is that you don't know what's going to happen.
Exactly. And
you are planning for the unknown. So it's never too early or too late, really, to plan. And the importance of the representation agreement is we often have clients say, well, I would appoint my spouse anyways, or I would appoint my child anyways, so why do I need one? Well, the representation agreement allows them to make decisions, again, for health care and medical care, but also the personal care. So without that representation agreement, you don't really have someone that can make those legally make those decisions to do with personal care. So
so this is something that you focus a lot on, right? This is sort of part of your expertise when it comes to...
Yes, this is one component of our estate planning. So there's the wills, the powers of attorney, and then this third part is the representation agreement.
Okay, I think, is it something, would you say something that people just sometimes forget about? They don't think about that? Like you think about, you know, building your will and whatnot, but...
Absolutely, yes. It's certainly one part that is not considered as part of your estate planning, but certainly an important piece to have.
Are most people usually when they do appoint someone as part of the representation agreement, is it mostly, you said it could go down the line from, your spouse, your child, or whomever, but is it usually family, or do you see people moving away from that?
It is usually family. According to the list, it starts with family, and eventually it does get to close friend or someone related by marriage, but that's towards the end of the list. So you certainly, when you prepare your representation agreement, you can appoint anyone that you would like to have.
Anyone you're comfortable with making those decisions. And then would you recommend sitting down with that person as well, making sure they're very aware of what you want?
Yes, absolutely. That's an important piece as well, is to have those conversations with those people, with your family, so that they understand what your wishes are and what you want to see happen.
Excellent. Thanks, Jasmine. Very knowledgeable. It's not an easy topic to discuss. I know it's something that you're comfortable talking about, and I'm glad, because you need more people like that to really get the conversation going. So we appreciate that. For more information on Fulton and Company, you can visit their website or phone them at that phone number on the screen. We're back in 2 minutes here on Midday. Stay with us.